Welcome back, everyone. POW Ponder on Weather here. Welcome to POW Ponder Ultra. In this update, we're going to be talking about this cold blast being one of the strongest in decades. So let's start off and take a look at the overall 850 millibar temperatures this afternoon, and it's intense. It got down all the way to 33 below zero up there in Wisconsin and in Michigan this morning. And it's really intense over the Hudson Bay. They bottomed out at 50 below zero on the wind chill factor. That intense cold is diving down into New England and really going to be bottoming out come Saturday morning. So let's take a look at the overall temperatures this afternoon, guys. This is afternoon temperatures well below zero, if not over 20 degrees below zero, bottoming out at 29 below. So that is some really intense cold on the way. And it's not just the actual temperature, it's the feels like, which is dangerous. Yeah, coming in at 55 below zero. That is some serious frostbiting, dangerous stuff, guys. And that is the intense cold that will be diving down here into portions of the Northeast and to New England as we get into the overnight hours tonight, especially into tomorrow morning. And one of the culprits is these really high wind gusts going to be associated with it. Check out the winds coming across Hudson Bay here through upstate New York, all the way into Connecticut, into Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire, all the way into Maine. Maine really picks up the brunt of this intense cold. The winds are going to be cranking 50, 60, upwards to 70 miles an hour. Some of these areas could max out over 80 miles an hour. This is intense, quick cold shot, and some of this is some of the coldest temperatures you felt in decades in some of these areas. So let's take a look at some of these temperatures as we bottom out around 7 o'clock this morning into Saturday morning. Around 7 degrees there in Harrisburg, over here at 14 degrees in Fredericksburg, 13 degrees in Washington, D.C., 11 degrees in Dover, 9 degrees in Bridgeton, 9 degrees in Wilmington. So if we keep on going up to York, about 9 degrees. If we move on over all the way to Somerset, it's bottoming out at 0 degrees. So it gets colder as you continue to lift north. State College checking in at 5 degrees tomorrow morning. Back into Philadelphia, 8 degrees. But once you get up to Scranton, then you start getting below zero. That's all these areas in purple. 1 below zero. Up in Beamonton, 8 below zero. So definitely some intense cold, but it really gets intense as we keep going up. New York City down to 1 degrees potentially. It's been a long time since you've seen something like that. And down to 7 below in Hartford, 8 below in Providence. This is where it gets really intense. 11 below in Boston. So that is some intense cold. That's the daily record is 2 below. They will shatter that record easily as it really gets some serious cold in Albany, 11 below zero. So definitely a very intense night, cold night ahead. But again, the wind chills are what's deeply concerning with this particular setup, with those intense winds compounding with the very cold Arctic air mass really bottoming out at 13 below zero, feels like in New York City. That is some cold stuff. 26 below in Waterbury, 18 below in Hartford, 24 below in Providence, down here in Barnstable, 29 below zero. Boston, regular temperatures 11 below, feels like 27 below zero. So that is definitely something you have not seen in a long time. But we go up to keep on going up the ladder up into Vermont, 14 below zero, Watertown 15 below, even Toronto is 1 below zero actual temperatures. They were actually colder this morning. But yes, very intense cold as you continue to move up closer into upstate New York. Albany, 22 below zero feels like temperatures. 45 below up here, 31 below in Burlington. That is definitely some intense cold on the way. And once we get up into Maine, like I mentioned, that is where the intense cold really maximizes. 22 below zero actual temperatures in Bangor, 27 below in Caribou, some really intense cold. Rutland 15 below. You get up into Montreal. Montreal's coming in at 25 below zero with this intense Arctic air mass. Quebec is at 28. But again, the feels like temperatures is where it gets dangerously cold. It's been a long time since you've seen something like this maximizing at 66 below zero feels like. That is something you have not seen in decades in these areas. Even for them, I know you guys get cold, but this is some intense cold, and this is dangerously cold. With the combination, with those winds associated with it, that is an extreme 52 below zero feels like up there in Montreal, 55 in Quebec. So yes, a very cold, intense night ahead, to say the least. But up there in Mount Washington, check this out, guys. Even Mount Washington up there at 6,200 elevation, I actually went there about 5 years ago and went up to the summit. It was on one of my bucket lists. I actually got to go around October, and then of course they closed it 2 weeks later. It just gets seriously cold up there. This is some of the worst conditions, and really in the whole world. It's sometimes and up here, and that's what's going to happen coming up this weekend. So they actually even could be experiencing record territory, even for them, where they are expecting to see the wind chill possibly maximizing out at minus 100 below zero. The last time they got anywhere close, the all-time record is 103 below zero. All the way back from 2004, you'd have to go back to 1994 when it got back down to minus 96, minus 95 feels like back in 82. Now check this, where we are currently right now. This is where Mount Washington currently, as I'm uploading this video, and this is the afternoon. The winds are cranking at 98 miles an hour. The wind gust in the last 10 minutes was 109 miles an hour. Over the last 24 hours, they did record a wind gust of 122 miles an hour. So even right now, the wind chill is minus 91. We're not even that far off to some of the coldest wind chills they've ever experienced up here. And this is the middle of the afternoon. So they got all night to see if they can break that record. And I think they're going to do it. They only have about 10 more degrees to go on the feels like, and the winds are going to be cranking even higher than that. They could max out sustained about 110, gusting about 140 range as we get into tomorrow morning into the overnight hours tonight. But it's a quick hit because we rapidly rebound. So luckily this is just a one-day wonder, but man, it maximizes out the one-day serious plunge to going into tomorrow morning. And then as we go into Sunday afternoon, things rebound quickly as everything pulls out. This polar lobe lifts back up into Canada and eventually back up in the Arctic. And most of the areas that experience the extreme cold will be experiencing pleasant conditions in the 40s by the time we get into Sunday afternoon. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me in the next update where I protect you before and after the storm.